guys, this is James with RogueDuelist Trade, and on this channel we talk about current and upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh product and whether or not you should invest your money in order to profit. Guys, we're gonna do a very different video today. I kind of just want to rant a little bit about a really bad experience that I had selling on TCGPlayer. And you know, I knew it was bound to happen at some point. It finally happened, and I thought it would be good to share this experience with you guys because I know many of you guys are on the same journey as I am, which is being early on and starting your Yu-Gi-Oh side business selling trading cards. And if you do that, you probably sell primarily on platforms like TCGPlayer and eBay. But guys, real quick, I know a lot of people have been interested in my Yu-Gi-Oh Investments Patreon, especially because you can actually buy product through the Patreon depending what tier you're on. If you guys want updates on that, just follow me on Facebook and Instagram. There's links down in the description below. I'll also provide updates on YouTube through the community tab. Also, if you guys like Yu-Gi-Oh investment content, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss content from me. So all right, let's just jump right in. So here's what happened. I bought a case of Rise of the Duelist. Wasn't a huge investment, but for me it was pretty big because hey, like 690 bucks is a lot of money. So if you guys have been following the channel, you probably saw my case opening video on Rise of the Duelist. The profit margins I made, I think were about like 160 bucks or something like that. So not huge, but obviously I did not pull a Starlight Rare and I only bought one case. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, you buy multiple cases so that you have a higher chance of getting a Starlight Rare so your profit margins are better. I posted everything immediately after I opened it, at least all of my high dollar cards. And it was crazy. I literally posted everything up, and within like, I don't know, 6 hours, every single high dollar card sold. I think I made about 825 bucks in sales immediately on product release weekend for Rise of the Duelist, which was a few weeks ago, at least as the recording of this video. So the very next morning, I was dead focused on getting everything out of the door, but there was two particular orders that were very large, especially together. And for the protection of my customer, I'm just gonna go ahead and call him Bob. So Bob made two separate orders, and on his orders, he ordered 3 Nadir servants, and at the time it was priced at about 73 bucks on release. And he also ordered 1 Shadal Schism, which is roughly $6 on release. But then about 15-16 minutes later, he made a second order of 2 Triple Tactics Talent at about $71 a pop. So if you add those two orders together, the guy dropped like 366 bucks just on like 6 cards, which is crazy to me. But anyways, these are two of the largest orders I've ever had on TCGPlayer. Definitely by far the largest order from a single customer I've ever had within the exact same day. So I'm excited. I have about 20 orders, these two being one of them, all for the same customer, which is Bob. I figured out how to export my orders that needed tracking from TCGPlayer to a spreadsheet, kind of manipulate that spreadsheet in a different template, upload it into EasyShip.com, purchase and generate tracking labels all in one foul swoop, which is pretty cool. I printed every single label because I am extremely meticulous. I went and ensured every address was correct, every name was correct, and then I started with my orders and I started putting every single order together. Now, because a lot of these were very high dollar orders, especially Bob's 2 orders that he made, I was extremely anal in making sure not only were all of the cards accounted for and like triple checking before they actually went into the envelope. And I remember specifically Bob's orders because again, these are like the high dollar orders from the 20 orders I had from Rise of the Duelist, and again, like my highest orders ever on TCGPlayer. So I remember counting out the Nadir servants because Nadir servant, I only pulled 3 out of my case. So this guy bought me out of all of my Nadir servants, and he also bought a Shadal Schism. But I made a big mistake, which I'm going to touch on as the lesson I learned from this experience towards the end of this video. So orders go out and I have my tracking information. I'm actually kind of tracking it every few days to see how all of my orders are doing. And I don't know if you guys have had the same experience if you're in the US. USPS, which is the United States Postal Service, has been absolutely terrible in the past several weeks. Probably largely due to COVID. I think there's some government related reasons as well, but they have just been very bad. Usually it's about 2 to 4 business days when I do tracking for my cards, and it literally took 2 weeks. It wasn't until I believe August 20th, and I think I shipped everything out August 9th. It took 11 days, which is way longer than normal for USPS. Again, I have to give them some grace because of COVID. So slowly but surely, I see everything is starting to be delivered. No complaints. You have some ease of mind. It's like, like, okay, all of my high dollar orders are good. But then suddenly Bob sends me a message on TCGPlayer and it's titled missing order. If you guys are a vendor, I'm sure you're the same as me, to where if you see something like that, your skin begins to crawl and you start to freak out just a little bit. So the very first message I get from Bob, he said, I only received 2 Nadir servants from you and not 3 and 1 Shadal Schism. So I'm thinking in my mind, how is that possible? I know I looked that order over several times. I made sure everything was in there. I did have 20 orders. It's somehow did I screw up, but it's like, one thing I would tell you guys, know yourself and how you operate very well. I'm a very meticulous and anal person when it comes to orders, especially high dollar orders. I knew there was no way I could have screwed it up. This guy bought all of my Nadir servants. I went and I looked in my inventory. It definitely was not there. There's definitely no way I would have shipped a Nadir servant in the wrong order by mistake. It just made no sense, because why would I screw up on a card like that? Like, there's just no way that would have happened. So I'm just having all of these questions flooding my head. I'm starting to freak out a little bit. I'm wondering, is this guy trying to scam me because he invested like literally $366 in a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Now he has buyer's remorse. So immediately I went and escalated to TCGPlayer because I was thinking there's something absolutely not right about this. I don't trust it. If I screwed up, absolutely I'm going to refund the guy. But something just seemed off. It just didn't seem right. But then just a few minutes later, I got another message from Bob and he said, I only received 1 Shadal Schism from you and 2 Nadir servants. I ordered 3 Nadir servants on my other order and 2 Triple Tactics Talent, which I have not received. It says it was delivered according to USPS. Did you ship them together or separately? So now I'm really starting to freak out a little bit, because I'm looking, I see it's delivered as well. He's saying that's not there too. So now I have 1 Shadal Schism and I have 2 Triple Tactics Talent that is unaccounted for. And if that were to happen, I am absolutely going to lose out on this investment 100%, to where now I'm thinking, why am I even doing this? So of course I immediately escalate that to TCGPlayer as well, and I give them the same reasoning that I said in my previous message to them. So I believe that all happened on a Saturday. I escalated everything, and I think on Sunday I got another message from Bob. He said just 1 Nadir servant was not in the order. The other 2 in Schism were in there. 3 were ordered, so I'm just missing 1. My other order through you I have received. We are good on that one. I do have a little bit of ease of mind. Now he's telling me the Triple Tactics Talent came. So now I'm questioning this guy's intention. I'm like, man, now he's telling me the other Triple Tactics Talent did come. I'm wondering, is this guy trying to scam me? But now he's telling me this came, so maybe he's innocent. So I'm now questioning myself. It doesn't make sense that I wouldn't have sent him the 3rd Nadir servant. But then I start getting responses from TCGPlayer. And basically their response is that Bob has not had any type of issues in the past that they have recorded in their system. So they're taking him on good faith, and they're basically telling me to either replace the card or to refund him completely. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, they're not gonna support me at all. So I respond to them and I tell them I was acknowledging that this is the largest order that I've ever had. I also acknowledge that they should be looking at my reputation as a seller as well, because I have a 100% reputation score. I haven't had anybody ever tell me that they were ever missing anything in an order. There was one occasion where a card got damaged on transit and I refunded that guy 100% after he sent me a photo of the card, no questions asked after that. So I'm wondering, how can they let their vendors just go and lose money if people are maliciously saying they're missing cards? Like, TCGPlayer takes 11% plus on every single sale that I make. So from my perspective, the customer is Bob to me, and I am the customer to TCGPlayer. So the fact that they're telling me that I have to go and 100% refund without helping me or supporting me in any way, shape, or form just didn't seem to make sense. So I asked them, it doesn't make any sense that this happened. I really don't believe that I missed the card, but I am willing to refund the guy. But are you guys willing to help support me in covering half of the cost? Because otherwise I'm gonna be at a pretty large loss on this investment I made in Rise of the Duelist. And they basically responded with tough luck. The guy has a clean record. There's nothing we can really do. They had a whole bunch of fluff that they added to it. So then I decided I needed to take things into my own hands. And of course, I wanna respect my customer. I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I somehow screwed up up. Maybe somehow something got slipped in the wrong place, even though I was like 99.9% confident that that didn't happen. I decided to just dig in a little bit more. And I responded to the guy, I said, "Hey Bob, first off, I apologize for the delay in my response. I escalated your messages to TCGPlayer immediately after seeing them, and I just said they responded this morning to provide me some guidance." I explained I was happy to hear that the second order came in, and I said there has been some issues with USPS, likely due to the pandemic, so things have been taking longer than normal. Then I said, as for the missing Nadir servant, I sold all of my high dollar Rise of the Duelist inventory within 24 hours of product release weekend. I've checked my inventory. I do not see another Nadir servant. I am very meticulous when I send out my orders, especially orders where my customers invest a lot of money. I imagine you check the packaging and your surroundings from where you open the envelope to make sure it wasn't misplaced by mistake. I would imagine you did, but wanted to make sure before I take next steps. At the end of the day, I want you to be taken care of and have a good experience. Kind regards, James, RogueDuelist Trade. I had to read this over a bunch of times before I sent it over because one, I can't go and just point a finger at the guy and say he's trying to scam or not scam. I have no idea what his intentions are. The guy could be a 100% innocent, and definitely sitting in his shoes, I would want to make sure the vendor considers my perspective and my story before going and making false accusations. So I wanted to give the guy benefit of the doubt, but I also wanted him to understand that I am very careful with my orders, I'm very meticulous with my orders, and that it's very much baffling me that he's saying that it's not in there. So I'm asking kindly, like, did you check your packaging? Did you check your surrounding areas? Did you make sure that it's there? And then about 2 hours later, I get a response from him and he says, "Never mind, I appreciate the response. All cards are here. The other Nadir servant was tucked away behind the Shadal schism. I appreciate, thank you. Yeah, USPS has been a nightmare as of late with delays." So there you go. You start questioning yourself. You start wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I screw up? How could I do something like this? And all you have to do is just dig in a little deeper. How many people would have just went and gave the refund because they don't know what to do? Because you definitely get put into this place of you're in a corner, you have no way out, you don't know what to do. Maybe I just have to go and accept the loss and just move on, which definitely that happens sometimes. You just got to take it and you got to move forward. But in this case, I was just not convinced that I screwed up in missing this card. And after TCGPlayer literally gave me zero support and they gave me no options and no way of helping me, even though I have a clean reputation as well, I had to take matters in my own hands, just dig in a little bit more, and I don't know what happened. If I thought I was missing a $73 card and I had two different top loaders in front of me, I would have opened it, looked, see if the card was maybe behind something before reaching out to a vendor and saying, "Hey, a card's missing." So I don't know what this guy's intentions are. Maybe he's just not as anal as I am, so you can't assume everybody's gonna do the same thing that you would do. But after just doing a little bit of digging, it turned out the card was always there. It was there the entire time. So what are the lessons from my experience that I want to share with you guys if you ever come across this? Lesson one, you're gonna have to deal with some uncomfortable situations if you're going to be doing business in any capacity, especially vending Yu-Gi-Oh cards or any trading cards in general. Everything will seem like it's going smoothly for months, maybe even a year, maybe days or weeks, but you're gonna have an issue pop up and you need to be able to stay grounded in how you're going to deal with it and keep your emotions in check, not freak out, or at least showing your customer that you're anxious in any way, shape, or form. Lesson number two, probably for anything that's $50 or more, I am going to record and document myself, or at least take pictures of what is actually going inside of the envelope so that at least I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that those cards were in there, so I can deal more confidently if I feel like somebody is trying to scam me. Now, if cards get damaged, honestly, if somebody sends me a picture of a damaged Nadir servant or something, I'm just gonna take their word for it and I'm going to refund them. So that's really on you or me as the vendor to make sure that you're packaging things as best as possible, especially for high dollar orders. And lesson number three, do not be afraid to ask questions when issues come up from your customers. I could have easily just got very anxious, worried, not know what to do, and just refunded the guy because I literally got zero support from TCGPlayer. But instead, always give your customer the benefit of the doubt, but don't be worried about asking probing questions to see what happens. Me just simply asking the guy, letting him know that I'm very meticulous with my orders, that before I take steps, not really saying what the steps are going to be, but before I take steps, hey, check your packaging, check your surrounding areas, make sure it wasn't missed. If he did have bad intent, he's probably starting to become anxious, like, oh man, I don't want to get found out. I don't want TCGPlayer to have this on their record. Or maybe he was innocent and he just didn't look thoroughly into the packaging to see if the card was actually there. So don't be afraid to probe, because it could work out. Now, if this did not work out, I would have refunded the guy and I would have continued pushing on TCGPlayer to help cover half. And if this issue were to ever happen again, then yeah, maybe I'm some type of shady seller and you guys should either ban me or you guys just don't help me out next time if somebody tells me something's missing. But at the end of the day, I'm extremely disappointed with TCGPlayer. I'm extremely disappointed that they gave no backup to me as their vendor. And I understand that you have to give the customer benefit of the doubt, but you also have to give your vendor benefit of the doubt. We are TCGPlayer's customer. We are eBay's customer. They're taking percentage from our sales. They exist because we exist and we're selling through their platform. So it is in their best interest, if they have a vendor that is in very good standing, has had no negative reviews, they should be willing to help back up and support their customer by either covering the cost for that refund or at least covering a portion of it. And I told them very plainly that they need to provide better support to their vendors. We are their customer, and honestly, I'm like more inclined to start trying to sell more on eBay just because of how frustrated I am with how they handled that situation. But anyways, guys, that's the end of my rant. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely very different than any type of content we normally put on this channel. But I want to keep content focused on vending as much as possible. But I would love to know your story. If you guys are a vendor in the Yu-Gi-Oh vending community, let me know down in the comments below. What are issues that you guys have had? What are lessons that you've learned? Definitely when the rubber meets the road, you can come into some very tough situations that you have to navigate through. Thank God this one worked out for me. I'm glad it did, and I'm sure there's gonna be scenarios where it's not going to work out as simple as this one. If you enjoyed the video, to help the YouTube algorithm and support this channel, like this video. And again, guys, the first ever Yu-Gi-Oh Investments Patreon is here first on RogueDuelist Trade. Our Patreon, we have ratio videos. I just posted a ratio video on the 2020 Megaton. So if you guys want to see ratios on a sample size of 14 cases, you can join our level 2 and up Patreon tiers, and you'll be able to get access to that video among other product ratio videos in the future. And also early September, we're going to be opening more level 3, and we're going to be unveiling level 5 and level 6 maybe. And once we have more of those spots available, those patrons will be able to pre-order Genesis Impact. All right, guys, I hope you subscribed and hit the notification bell. I hope you enjoyed the content today. I'll see you guys in the next video.